What if you don't need more time to build a side hustle? What if you just need to stop underestimating the amount of time that you actually have? Because as mums, we're constantly waiting for the schedule to settle so we can get on with what we really want to do. But the problem with that is the things that we really want are always getting pushed to the edges by the demands of our motherhood. And so today I want to chat about those edges. What if those edges are enough to get started? Because I actually think that's one of the things that sets us mums with a side hustle apart. We know how to build in small, faithful steps. So, welcome everybody to the weekly Mum with a Side Hustle call. I'm Alicia Sayuli, and in front of you, you have the Mum Tribe. Oh, my desk just went up. This is a weekly call that we do of about 30 to 40 minutes. And we go live and we pop this on YouTube. And then after that time, we turn the recording off and us mums get together and chat and talk about business and family and everything like that is definitely the highlight of my week. And I think that it is for other people too, because these mamas, they just keep showing up. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about the third value that I think mums with a side hustle hold. But I don't want to talk for too long because I actually want us to get to the nitty gritty and chat together. Because this is something that I was just saying before the call to Laura. I don't want mum with a side hustle to have a prescription of what kind of side hustle you should have, how you should manage that with your family. Just no prescription at all, because every family, every woman, every combination is totally different. And so I think this call is going to be really valuable if we can share from our experiences how we've learned to build a side hustle in the edges of time that we have as mums. And secretly, I actually think it's a superpower to be able to be focused in small amounts of time. And over time, if we're consistent, we're going to achieve great things. So anyway, welcome to Mum with a Side Hustle call. We're in a series at the moment on the 5 traits of the mum with a side hustle. And here's the top 5 things that I've chosen to talk about and I think are becoming the cornerstones of this community and like values that we hold. So I'll just read these to you. The first one is that we believe we're made for more. We believe that our vision is to build a legacy. Now, those two we covered on a previous call, and I'll link that at the end of the video. This week, we're talking about taking small, regular, faithful steps. So that is action in consistency. That is what we're going to talk about today. And the last 2 that we're going to cover eventually are building with leverage, because I do not think there's any point building something that you can't leverage or use multiple times over. You might learn something from a business where you sell your time for money, but ultimately you're not going to build a legacy with a business that does not have any leverage in it, and you will probably give up over time. So we definitely want leverage. And the last value is that us mums who have a side hustle in this tribe choose growth over comfort. And so a lot of what we do is based around the importance of growing ourselves. And we see that as a really vital part of growing a business and motherhood. And the reason that these matter is because they actually answer 5 questions I believe every woman in our season is asking. Who am I? What am I building? How do I build? How do I build wisely? And who am I becoming? And so today we're going to attack number 3, which is small, faithful, regular steps. So I want to start with some opening questions that you guys can ask yourselves, have a little think about. So where in your day do you currently have little pockets of time that you tend to overlook or dismiss as not enough time? Have you ever compared your progress to another woman and felt behind because you're building around the needs of your children? If you knew that the small things you did this week could become something significant a year from now, what would you start doing differently? Okay, so these are some questions I want us to consider and ponder because they are going to help force us to think about, do we actually have more time than we think we do? And when we use those down moments, are we going to end up feeling less energy or more energy? And that's really a question only you guys can answer for yourselves. But let's talk about small, faithful steps. Welcome, Sophie. It is lovely to have you here. Let's have a check. Oh, look at all these beautiful mamas. Why don't you give a wave if you're on the screen, or if you can get to the screen for a second and say hi. We've got Sophie, Laura, we've got Pamela, Kieran, and Bron. These are some of the beautiful mamas building side hustles in a busy season of motherhood. Okay, we'll be back with them soon. Let's talk about consistent action times consistent. How do I say this? Consistent action over time multiplies into great things. Sorry, that got a bit confusing. Consistent action over time multiplies into great things. So let's start with the areas of frustration that we might feel as a mum. And pop in the chat if you think that this is true. Who else gets overwhelmed, okay, by the constant changes in your schedule as a mum? Anyone with me? Anyone ever get overwhelmed by the constant changes? Me. Every age that our children are requires different needs. Laura says absolutely in the chat. Or someone gets sick, and it could take a week or two for that schedule to go back to normal. Maybe you've had a new baby, then your rhythm changes again. Or something happens externally to your family and the rhythm changes again. And as a mum, we carry a lot of that on our shoulders. And so sometimes we can fight this feeling like, I'm just so overwhelmed, I have no space for anything more. And that is a frustration. If you want to build a side hustle, that is a massive frustration. Yeah, we're all in the same boat on that one. Sometimes I've even wished that I could have a job and send my kids to daycare just so we have a rhythm. But I quickly realized, and I know there are some mums in our tribe who are in that situation, that there are a lot of other challenges that you face if that's the choice you make. So I don't think one is better than the other. Every mother faces this constant changing. And I've had to get to this point where I just accept that there's going to be different times, different frustrations, and can I choose to rise in every moment, whether it is perfect or not, okay? Overcome that frustration. What about this? I reckon there's a lie that we believe. So have you ever looked at someone else's success, like maybe compared yourself to another woman and gone, well, they've got it better because maybe they don't have small kids like I do, or maybe they work and I don't, maybe they've got a different schedule, or maybe they've got the support of another person like a grandparent. Maybe they've got an advantage in some way. And we can actually waste our time believing the lie that there are conditions that are better than ours that would mean that we would succeed more. And so we spend time in that space where I can't succeed unless. Now, there are conditions that are better for us to succeed, but I'm a big believer in, on the whole, we actually create most of those conditions. And yes, in different seasons, we've got to change our capacity. There'll be times when you can give more to your side hustle, times that you can give a little bit less, but on the whole, we can never be blaming our success on the outside conditions and believe that we'll only succeed in the perfect conditions, because they don't ever come. And what about this? Do you ever feel behind? You look at people building something similar. Maybe they're in the same network marketing business. Maybe they're building a personal brand. Maybe, they've had a baby at the same time as you, but they look like they've got it all together. And you compare where your progress is at with theirs. You find yourself failing or falling short. And so you're like, what's the point? And that thought alone consumes your mind so much that you think about that more and more and more, and I think it continues to discourage you. And that is honestly some of the battles that I have faced, and they are not true. They do not have to be true for you, and you can rise above and work through those. So let's challenge some mindsets, right? Why are we addicted to big moments? Why are we addicted to needing a big period of time to achieve something? Where did that idea come from? I actually think building in small moments is a powerful tool for everyone and not just for mums. But we get the privilege of learning it faster because basically, if you choose a side hustle, you have to. Like, you have to believe that you can build in small moments. And I'm going to say that that is a privilege and that is an advantage that us mums have. We've got to start thinking in advantages rather than disadvantages. Who's with me on that? This is our choice. So we get to choose if we have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And I choose growth mindset. I choose my season is not my disability. My season is my advantage. It is the thing that can project me further, and that's how I want to see where I am right now without comparing to those around me or to people who are doing the same thing. Like, I can still believe that my season is the best season to build my side hustle in, and see other will succeed in different ways and faster and whatever else. Okay, here's another question for us. Why does God seem to love small beginnings? So let's jump into some really powerful passages and stories from the Bible where small beginnings were very, very powerful. So let's go to Zechariah. So in Zechariah, Zerubbabel is rebuilding the temple, and what is in front of him probably looks unimpressive compared to the finished version. So here's a verse. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zechariah 4, verse 10. God's message is essentially don't look at the size of what is in front of you. What you're doing today is actually really significant. And God rejoices with you when you get going, when you start to do the work. And that is something that happened in Zephaniah's time. Okay, here's another verse from Ecclesiastes. Plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you don't know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. You don't necessarily know that what you're doing right now is going to produce exactly the harvest you want. So don't just do one thing and then let it sit. Like, we need to capture the ideas and plant seeds by taking action in small ways every day, because we don't know which harvest is going to come. Like, Laura, I think you are such a cool example of this. Maybe I don't know if you can unmute, but like, you're trying a few different things, and they are not all
All
the
at
same. So, like, how did you come to the point where you gave yourself permission to plant different seeds?
I guess that just compounded over time from someone. Is that your pushchair? Yeah, you go get your pushchair. I was a person that couldn't even mow the lawns if I couldn't get it all done.
Yeah.
And then um and then with a baby and then renewing my mindset, that changed. And so it was, if it took me 5 or 6 goes to mow the lawns, I wouldn't see that as failure, and I'd celebrate the fact that I had 3 babies, 3 children at home, and I was able to mow the lawns, which usually takes about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so that just kind of compounded over time. And then I feel like every time a thought process came in and said that I couldn't do something then, or I won't be able to achieve at all or as I wanted, I'd challenge that. And then through like personal development in my network marketing company, and also the discipleship through Raising Royalty, it just kind of, yeah, just grew and grew. And then just trial and error and obedience to ideas, yeah, massively of late. So I feel like it's definitely a journey where you need to start building on yourself in order to, that when something arises, instead of saying, oh, I can't do that, it's another business, or I don't think I can deliver it how I want, it's okay, let's just steward this over time and see where it can go over time, and not think immediately finish line.
One
Like,
thing
where
I've
do I
noticed
want?
in you too, Laura, is like you have gained momentum. So obviously,
Yeah.
it's almost like you started with one thing, with your Amari business, and you got some habits in there. You're working on your daily consistency with raising royalty, and all the wisdom and support that you've had there, and then you've been able to add other things as your roots have gone deeper, maybe.
Yeah, probably, definitely through capacity, and like self-belief, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And also what you just said about Castellizzi's, about you just don't know what one's going to prosper. So I wouldn't say that Amari has been prosperous, and I was almost not going to renew my brand partnership, but then I had a few conversations with ladies, and there's actually it can actually help gut health, and I'm really passionate about helping
Yeah,
women
yeah,
or mums feel better. And I was like, no, I have to just have faith that God sent me this business idea, and I just have to I'm passionate about it, keep stewarding it. And
yeah,
because I'm not going to qualify for the next trip, it doesn't matter. It's the conversations that you have and the tools in your toolkit when somebody does have a conversation with you. And so that's really key, that to keep doing it long enough, and don't throw in the towel if you're passionate about it. And the same with my t-shirts. I'm not having, I want to have a huge amount of momentum at the moment with that, but I
yeah.
don't have time to drive around different stores and go and sell the idea to them. So
Yeah,
I'm not parking it. I'm just going with the pace that I can. And I definitely believe that over the last 2 years, that is something that I've had to learn. And God has worked with me with that, is that it doesn't all have to be accomplished then and now, and then you're successful. It's over time, keep showing up and doing the 1% or the 10-minute increments of mowing the lawns.
yeah, come on. And the reality is that different types of seeds grow at different paces.
Mm,
And that's been my experience too. Like I have several different streams of income. And I actually didn't know for a long time how I was going to blend them together. If I had given up on them because they seemed unfruitful, and I'm on the same boat as you, like I love my life business. I really am passionate about how much those amazing patches can help people, but I haven't had the time to pour into it like I wanted to. But I've kept it alive in me, and now it is fitting into the ecosystem of all the different things I've got going on. Like being an affiliate for Raising Royalty, sharing the Master the Code program. People can join the academy, and from there, like they might want to choose one of my side hustles, whether it's LifeWave or Ollie Life. And if I had just like cut those things off, then my ecosystem wouldn't actually become anything. And I didn't know, like I've talked to you guys a few times that I'm going to start doing some advertising. I've never tried that before. I didn't know how that was going to fit into the ecosystem, but I'm like, yeah, I want to find a few more people to do master the code so we get more people into the ecosystem. But if I didn't have all of these pieces, then I wouldn't have an ecosystem. And so, I think that's one thing women are really good at is being interested in many things. We tend not to be like this focus, we tend to be like this. And that's probably why we pick up different businesses and do different things. But rather than feeling like they're a distraction, it's just trusting that in this season I'm going to put my emphasis here, and in this season I'm going to put my emphasis here, and somewhere along the way it's all going together. And what if one has to be discarded in the end? Like, does that matter? Um, you've learned something along the way. So, yeah, thank you, Laura. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I've got another verse I want to share with you guys. This one's from Galatians, and it says, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. And this is a very related to the last one we talked about. There's a time for sowing and there's a time for reaping and harvesting. And you can be doing the right things and still not see a harvest because it's actually still sowing time or it's still growing time, and the harvest is on its way. And keeping that alive in your heart and fostering the belief around that, and in your relationship with the Holy Spirit, getting a vision, getting encouragement, hearing his words about the things that you're working on is so important, so that you don't get tired and so that you can reap the harvest in the end. Psalm 1 verse 3, they are like trees planted along the riverbank, bearing fruit in each season. Their leaves never wither and they prosper in all they do. I love the idea of being rooted in God and having my roots down deep. And I totally resonate. I don't know if anyone else does with a tree with its roots in the water. I just feel so cool and calm when I think about that and so nourished, which is very important to me. You might spend 6 months learning business or doing the Kingdom Catalyst Award of Raising Royalty and learning about money and faith. And you might spend that time developing yourself. Don't underestimate that that is not building your business. Like so much of what we do is about growing the roots down deep and about the person that we're becoming. You might not make significant money in that time, but you are preparing yourself to be the person you need to be to receive the harvest. So, yeah, it's not wasted time, it's root development. What happens when we underestimate ordinary faithfulness? Okay, we give up and we forget about the future Alicia who's going to be thanking the now Alicia for putting in the time and the effort and the hours. Okay, how are we doing, mamas? Why don't you pop in the chat? I am with you, or I'm here, I'm enjoying this, or something that you're getting out of that if you're not folding washing or moving around the house tidying up. I understand. You can totally multitask and be on today's call. Yeah, cool, Laura. We are becoming new every day. It seems easy to just go back to the old ways or thoughts because you're new, but we have to thank God for the higher self we're designed to be. That's right. Hey, Karen, she's there. Cool. Okay. I feel like I have been rushing you guys, so I apologize. I want to talk about two of my favorite authors that have inspired me on my journey of believing that small, faithful steps will multiply into something great over time. So I want to introduce you to Donald Miller and Elizabeth Gilbert. Donald Miller is an author that has been around for quite a long time. He started the book called Blue Like Jazz. And later on, he wrote a book called Scary Close, which was about a journey he went on. He now has a massive company called Storybrand. I think that's the name of the company, or it started with something called Storybrand. But he talks about the reason, I just want to quote this here. His reason is that if you keep postponing the thing that matters until you have some mythical, perfect stretch of time, you'll eventually reach it when you're tired, distracted, and depleted. Okay, so he thinks that creativity and producing something is not worth waiting for that perfect amount of time. You'll be tired by then. And his idea is that you put first the thing that is the most important, even if you can only do a portion of it. Laura, you explained that really great, that, and I know it doesn't just apply to the lawns, but when you're doing the lawns, you just do piece by piece by piece, and eventually it is done. And when I sit down to do work, I often have a list of little admin things that really for the family need to get done. And I sit there and I'm like, do I do them because they're quick to tick off? Or do I work on that post idea that I've got? And I got to be honest with you, I don't always go with the post idea or the mum with the side hustle thing. But when I do, I'm always grateful. And I sometimes even use a timer. Like I turn on a timer. I'm going to do 10 minutes or 20 minutes just on this idea that I want to foster with mum with a side hustle. So yeah, this is Donald Miller's idea. And I couldn't find the quote, but in one of his books, he talked about, oh, this is the book it's from, A Million Miles in a Thousand Years. It's a yellow cover. He talked about how you could write a book in the 10 minutes you're waiting in the car to pick someone up or in the 10 minutes at the bus stop. He talked about these pockets of time, and I just took that idea. I was not a mum with a side hustle at that point. This was probably literally like 10 or more years ago. I've been married 8 years now. So it was probably 15 years ago that I read his book. And I just tucked that away, that you don't need the perfect amount of time to achieve the thing you want to do. You don't need a whole day to build something. You just need to keep touching it, keep coming back to it. And I've got a little idea for us, later on as we apply this for taking Donald Miller's idea. Just in summary, his idea, Donald Miller says, to put the most important creative work first, because your mental capacity decreases as the day goes on. Okay, Elizabeth Gilbert, she is the author of a book called Big Magic. And she says that we have to create despite the conditions rather than waiting for the perfect conditions to arrive. So a little bit different from Donald. He's saying put the best things first. Elizabeth is saying don't wait for perfect conditions. And I'm going to read a quote to you here. Even the most successful creative people I know complain that they never seem to get all the hours they need. Who feels like that? I never seem to get the hours that I need. But she talks about the author of Moby Dick. So this is Herman Melville. Now, if you haven't heard of Moby Dick, I've never read it, but it's a very famous novel. And she talks about his journey of just feeling frustrated that he does not have enough time to work on it. He's going to give up on it. But obviously he never did because Moby Dick has become a very, very famous book about a very large whale. So yeah, look, you're in the same boat as a lot of people who want to create something. They never feel like they have enough time, but it is worth it. Elizabeth Gilbert has actually been incredibly successful. You may remember the book Eat, Pray, Love, which became a movie played by Julia Roberts. I really love both the book and the movie. She was very, very successful with that, but she spent years working as a waitress and writing in her part-time because she so believed in the creative work and the calling she felt to tell these stories that were inside of her. And so, yeah, I feel very inspired by that. You're never going to have the perfect amount of time. You're never going to feel like you have enough time. But please don't give up. Like, please keep going. Use the pockets of time that you have because the future you will be so thankful. So I've got a few little ideas I want to put out there of how to take tiny action. But I hope that as a Mum Tribe, we can add a lot more value to this part of the conversation. So here's some things that I've tried and that have worked for me. If I set up an activity for the kids, now I know that setting it up might take longer than that you actually get out of it, but stay with me. So Play-Doh, it might take longer to clean it up too, but I might be able to get 10 really useful minutes if I set up Play-Doh. And those 10 minutes might be the 10 minutes that I need to get the post that I want to write written most of the way, or the customer I want to talk to, you know, a text message sent or a voice message follow-up done. So you can set up an activity for your kids to do to capture that moment. Something that I often do is if I have to lay with my kids to get them to sleep, because I am not very good at sleep training, my heart just isn't in it. I take 5 extra minutes afterwards and I just do a little task that I need to do for Mum with a Side Hustle. Once you're breastfeeding, if you're going to have another baby, which I know two of our tribe actually are going to have babies soon. So once you've got that breastfeeding going well for you, if that happens for you, these can be beautiful moments where you're very bored and you can have your phone, and what can you get done on your phone towards your side hustle? Okay, that might be a moment you want to capture. Another one is have an ongoing list of tasks or ideas or things you want to do so that when you do find a pocket of time, that you can actually go back to that thing and start working on it so that you're not like, oh, what should I do? So you can go on it. And I'm not saying use all your pockets of time in every day to do a side hustle. Please don't do that. You don't need to do that. You just need to capture a few of them a day. Even one is really, really valuable. If you can touch your business once a day, you're doing a great work. If you can touch it a few times a week, you're doing a great work. If you've just had a brand new baby, like just chill, just relax and enjoy that because they're not babies for very long. But you know, have in your heart that you are determined that you're going to come back to it, and you will. You will. Please have faith in yourself that you are not going to give up because kids got sick or you know stuff happened that you can't control. I just have a deep belief in my heart that I will never give up on Mum with a Side Hustle, and I will see it through to a very profitable business. And I'm so excited for that moment. I'm so excited for the hundreds of women who will come into this tribe and will be encouraged and equipped to grow businesses in a busy season of motherhood. I'm excited for the things we're going to do together, the projects. I've got in my heart to do a conference for Mum with a Side Hustle. Right now it's an online conference, but who knows, it could be an in-person one. I've got in my heart projects that I want to see us do, like to impact places where people are forgotten and unseen. And if we as mums can create income that is exponential and are beyond what we need as a family, then we can impact something greater than us. And that's why I want to turn up and I want to show up and I want to see this grow. And I will keep doing it in my small moments, in the season changes. I mean, we've had so many changes in the last year. It's been over a year since we left Taupo. We moved to Auckland. We lived with my family for 4 months, new routine. Then we went on a mission trip for 2 months. No routine. Then we moved to Panama City. We were there for 4 months. We were trying to find our rhythm there. We had seasons where we had childcare and seasons where we didn't. Then we moved to Boquete, which is still in Panama, in the mountains of Panama, and we've had a long season of us, and then we had my husband's mum come and stay, and my parents come and stay, my husband's mum come back. We had times without her. We finally have found childcare like 3 mornings a week. There have just been so many changes, but change is the only constant, and you can find time. Sorry, I have got 2 more suggestions. I got really excited just then. I'm just going to unpin myself for a second in expectation and excitement for you guys having a chat with me in a second. I want to hear your ideas. Maybe it's 10 or 20 minutes after the kids go to bed. Put a timer on because you might need permission to not keep going. You just might need permission to do 10 minutes. I know for me, I really enjoy praying in the spirit, but I find it hard to get started. So if I say, I'm just going to do 5 minutes or 5 minutes of worship, 5 minutes turns into 10, 20, 30, once the kids have gone to bed or when I actually do have time. So yeah, that's been a little thing that helps me is being like, I can commit to 5 minutes of this and that works. And, a podcast or an audiobook while you're doing another job. For me, if I can get someone to look after the kids while I'm making dinner, it's the perfect time to listen to my favorite audiobook or something that's going to grow and develop me. One post, one customer outreach, one prayer, one lesson learned. That's what we can do in pockets of time, and it is super, super powerful. Okay, I'm going to check what we've got in the chat here. So Sophie says, I just realized that I have had epic discipline development over the last 90 days. Well done. Good job, Laura. Sophie, that is so cool. Well done. And Laura says you really like the idea of touching your business. Yeah, I like it too. I'm only telling you the things that have inspired me along the way. Okay, so these are things you could ask yourself. When in my day can I steal 10 minutes? Maybe twice. When in my week can I ask a supportive person to give me an hour to get a bigger task done? It doesn't have to be all on you, okay? You don't have to be the one who manages the kids and does this all by yourself. You're allowed to ask for help. And I actually think somewhere in your world, in fact, I'm going to release that over you. Somewhere in your world, there is someone who is going to step up and give you time, whether it's an hour a week, an hour every 2 weeks, an hour a month. They're going to believe in your dream. They're going to believe in what you're doing, and they're going to support you in getting that done. So it just takes a little ask. Ask the Holy Spirit, who should I ask? For me, it's my husband. He makes sure that this time, so it's 4 o'clock in Panama on a Wednesday, 9 o'clock in New Zealand, I have the 2 hours that I need to get my makeup done, get the camera set up. Like he makes sure that I have that time for this call. He is my biggest supporter. And so ask yourself those questions rather than when can I get 3 hours of time? Because, you might not be able to find that, but you can find small pockets. So yeah, please ask someone to help you and try and steal those little amounts of time. You don't need a bigger window. You need to become faithful with what you've got. Wow, mamas, here is the time for unmuting and having a little chat. I'm really curious to know what small pockets of time you actually have in your day that you do use or that have come to mind while we've been chatting that you think I could be using this pocket of time. So yeah, why don't you unmute? And if you're able to unmute and talk on camera, please do that. But if you're not, then just chuck it in the chat because I would love to hear how you guys are utilizing small pockets of time. Who would like to go? Laura, talk to us.
Um, I'm an expert, really. No, I'm not. I just wing it. But things that I've found really helpful for me, and I just some days are more successful than others, but if I look at it on a total spectrum, if I count the week instead of the days, it definitely does my mindset better. So I get up earlier than the kids, and I hope to get through all my things that I want to get through. And some days they just don't, because sometimes they wake up at 5:30, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7. So it depends. But getting up early, um, and then trying to establish some days of the week where we're really focused on their routine, so that when they've done their homeschool and the other bits and pieces around the place, it gives me the rest of the day to find those pockets of time as they arise.
Yeah.
And there's definitely things that I want to include in my structure going forward better, is keeping more lists
Yeah.
of, like you said, having a list of things that you can pick and choose what's a big job, what's not. And also, on a whole, I've been trying to, it doesn't really work a lot of the days, but I try and do something awesome,
Yeah.
because I am a person that needs awesomeness in my life.
What do you
And
mean by awesome? Like something that feels
um
really good?
I yeah, I think just something that makes me happy to be alive. Because I think sometimes when you're just doing the basics and you're giving it to everyone else, you
Yeah.
can miss that life is actually amazing. And so whether that's a horse ride with the kids, or whether that's a run for myself and seeing the greatness around me, or an epic phone call, or whatever it is, just do something awesome that makes me feel like I'm alive. And then also something for the house, something for myself, and something with the kids and my husband. So there's also a lot of other lists that go on as well. Um, yeah, time for my business is just literally, if I feel like I mentally do better with it if I've given the kids everything they need, especially because we're homeschooling. If I've done all that, then the pressure's off a little bit, and I can
Yeah.
find those pockets of time, because otherwise I can feel a little bit guilty, or a little bit
Yeah.
um yeah, not
Yeah.
not have good feelings around it if I haven't done that stuff. Yeah. So
And that's so cool. Like every one of us, this is what we talked about right at the beginning, have to find what matters most to us and create our life around those things. So yeah,
yeah.
that's a really cool example. Look, some of us don't get up really early for our kids. How do you do it? Do you go to bed early? Like how do you
Yeah.
manage? Because that is
We
that is
definitely,
hard. Like, how early do you get up, Laura?
it is hard. Well, in this season, I'm getting up once or twice a night, so it's almost worse
Okay.
than because it's just depending on, we've got a 6-year-old that I get up to go to the toilet, and then Alvine may want the toilet a few hours later, or she may wake up for a bottle. So it depends. We try and go to bed early. That's changed with the amount of things that we've got going on.
Okay.
um, and so we try to be asleep by 8:30.
Yes.
Um,
How do you like what time are you getting in like getting ready for bed?
After the kids. So we basically tell them to go to bed so we can go to bed.
Yeah, come on, there's nothing wrong with
Um,
that.
yeah. So super early. It's been pushing out to like 8:30, which is making it really hard to get up at 4:30. So it's before 5 if we can. Yeah.
Okay, some context here, Laura and her husband are farmers. But that's
Yes.
still early.
Yes, it is.
You feel it.
And
I
we
can see it on your face. So There's been some flex. So this worked really well for a while, but it's not working
Yeah.
as well this season. So you've changed the boundaries a little bit. You've changed the expectations.
Yeah, definitely. And also if I don't get the morning that I need to feel epic in the day, I
Yeah.
just it would really bug me. And so I've had a little bit of a cortisol, a little bit of a chat with myself and saying over the week, if you get 3 epic mornings, that's pretty amazing as a mum. If you get
Oh,
50% mornings, if you get 60%, if it, so I just a little bit more relaxed about it because one day, very soon,
yeah.
we'll be empty nesters and it will have gone
Yeah.
fast. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want to be resenting your kids for needing you.
no, no, absolutely not.
Like what the reason why we're doing it is for them, and then we get angry at them for making it hard for us. Who feels like that?
Absolutely.
Often you feel like these two emotions at the same time. I love you, but please don't need me.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
go you, Laura. I want to celebrate that you're getting up twice in the night. That's massive.
Thank you. It's a
Okay.
season.
Yeah, it is a season. We've got to keep that in our minds. Who else doesn't mind sharing about how they use pockets of time or how they find pockets of time? Kieran, yeah, go for it.
Hey, yeah, so my time generally without anybody awake is it like now in the morning. So
Mhm.
my family need extra sleep. So I just wake up. Yeah, so if I wake up at 8:30, I've got a few hours before everybody else is emerging, which is brilliant.
Cool.
But my son goes to bed late, but then he wakes up late, so I get this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. And what do you do with it?
At the moment I'm just working on building a door.
Maybe give us some more context. What is the door for?
Okay. Yes. It's for a toilet. I've just been working on a toilet in the bus. So
Okay, in a
I'm trying
bus.
to
She's
create,
building a
this is like,
bus, guys. This is
I'm in a
the
bus.
major project. So
This
tell
is
us
a
about
privacy
building a bus.
screen. This is two privacy screens. I'm trying to make them into a lightweight door. So behind here is, I don't know if you can see it, probably not.
Oh, this I've never
No,
seen
if
any
I'm facing
buses.
the
So
camera the right direction.
exciting.
Anyway,
Oh, look at
yeah.
that.
So I've just finished the toilet, but the last thing is the door. So yeah,
Well done. That
woo,
is
going hard.
epic. And so how
Thank
much
you.
time do you get in the morning? Like, do you get 2 hours working on the
Um,
bus? Or you like, do you do anything else in that time?
Yesterday I was helping a mum sheep give birth. So yeah, it changes.
Just, casually.
Yeah. So yep, she was having a sheep and it wasn't quite presenting right. It looked like it was coming backwards. So I got her other lamb she'd managed to give birth to, about 8:30 in the morning, and I pulled it up into the yards, and then yeah, I gave her a little hand to get the next one out and breathing and
You're
everything.
amazing. That is epic. I love it so much. Oh,
But
who
yeah, it
else?
changes. Sometimes I clean my house, but not every day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's part of sanity, but also can become insanity. If you don't understand that, what I'm referring to is cleaning your house and it getting dirty every day does not move you a lot closer to your big goals. But keeping it reasonably clean or getting parts of it clean can be really important for your mental health. So, okay, Sophie
Yeah,
and
it's a fine line.
Jen, I wondered if you guys wanted to share any of your little pockets or hacks that you have. How do you manage things? Yeah, go, Sophie. Come on. We want to hear what you do. This is another
Sorry,
rural mum.
that glitched. I was like, I think she said Sophie. um, yeah, for me. Hi, toddler baby. What do you need? You want to watch too? Here you go. She's obsessed with grabbing my phone at the moment. Can I chat this? Chat please? Chat please? Thank you. Right. So yeah, mum life.
That's right. My door is
You
locked
all
right
get
now.
that? Those
Both my kids have
interruptions.
been knocking on both doors. There's a window here. You
Yeah,
may have seen me do ugly faces before. That was to my son. My daughter's been crying at the
yeah,
other door. Yeah, it's real life.
yeah. So yeah, I definitely prefer to get up early when the little munchkins aren't interrupting. And the inspiration probably came from Laura and her husband Jono, to be honest. I usually try to get up around 5, but that has not been happening sort of over the last month or so, um, as I've had two pregnancies and my husband has been away heaps this winter, so it's all been on me. So sleep
Yeah,
has been a bit more of a priority.
yeah.
But yeah, I've still been managing to get up for the kids. Thankfully, my kids usually sleep until like sometime between 6 and 7. So I usually can get in at least a good half an hour to have a bit of a start to the day and do a few things on the computer, a bit of learning, that sort of thing. But yeah, at the start of this call, I realized how much discipline that I have actually developed over the last 90 days or so. Because prior to that, I pretty much would never get up before the kids got up, or if I like 6:30 was like oh yeah, that's super early for me. But
Yeah.
now like 6:30 feels like a sleep in, so it's hard case. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, so I just really enjoy that time to myself just to move my body, pray, do a bit of side hustle stuff. And sometimes I can even get in like 2 hours of doing that, and it just feels awesome to start the day with a bit of movement.
2 hours is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, good work, Sophie. You are doing epic. What a crazy season. Husband away, side hustle, 2 kids, 2 pregnancies. Like that is massive. You're doing amazing.
Yeah.
And
It's
amazing doesn't
been
equal
quite the
perfection,
journey.
right?
Yeah. It's funny how I really like what you were saying earlier about the perfect time is never going to come, and like even when you do get a snippet of time where you're like, oh, I have time to start something new or something like that. Often we just end up um not using it on something that's actually going to be long term satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's the difference between scrolling and using those pockets for productive things. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
against looking on Instagram for a little scroll, but it's so easy for that to become your go-to in your down moments. And that could be a way that some mums might be able to figure out where their little gaps are, is because you've had time to scroll. And so what can you do in that moment? Can you look through some photos and choose one for a post? Can you watch, like, check the chat from a business that you're part of? Like, what can you do in those moments that you have? So, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Sophie. Okay, Pam, do you have anything you want to add? I love the story you tell about getting your course recorded. That was like a push for you. Like you didn't do that in pockets. Like you really planned that out. So I think that's such a great example because a little bit different.
Yeah. How did I do that? I don't even know.
It was so long ago now. I
Yeah,
think
I
that
mean, I guess
you set
I
up,
had to,
Josh was helping you, right? Like he was in a different job, and so he had some time.
well, kind of. There were like, from at least for my live calls, he would have to step up and, look after the kids. But that was really only like 2 hours max of his work time. And then he would probably just work like a bit later in the day to make up for it. So we managed, because he at least had two days a week of being self-employed, we could kind of juggle that and make it work.
Yeah.
But I think I just did, I guess with filming, you're kind of like there's lots of steps to it. So the day that I would go to do the filming for something would often have to be like a Saturday or something like that, and he would just have to, his day off, he can have the kids. It was tough because I think it may have been just before he started studying. I think as soon as I finished the course, he started studying, so it's been much harder since then because his Saturday, basically his whole weekend, he's studying now. So I'm pretty much a single parent at the moment.
But we have
So
these
that,
seasons, right? Like we can look at it as a pocket of time where we're going to sacrifice something to gain something greater in the future.
yeah. So the actual filming is always where I need a couple of hours to focus because you do your makeup once, you can't really like look different the next time for the 2 minutes later in your video. So yeah, I think a few videos I just had to actually go and do fresh cuts of things that were like, hopefully nobody
Oh,
notices that it's a different day. Because even like the lighting's different and stuff, like slightly
yes.
different time of day, slightly different weather and all of
Yeah.
that.
Why don't you just quickly
But I
share with us what you created? Because I think that people might be interested.
Well, yeah, I created it was basically like an accelerator program for entrepreneurs at the time, but the reason I was recording everything was so I could then transform it into a self-paced course.
Mhm.
So as soon as I finished the accelerator, I launched the self-paced course, which it was tough because I was doing like a good 3 videos, training videos every week. So every
Yeah.
spare moment was editing. So at least, and then when you're not editing, you're scripting the next one. So at least scripting and editing were things I could do. Editing, you can kind of just grab the 20 minutes you've got here and there and fit it in. Scripting, you probably need a bit more focus time.
I
But
agree.
definitely like I'm trying to remember how much I used AI. I think I tried using AI, but then it was still fairly early days for like
Yeah.
good AI content. And
Yeah.
so I think it came across too generic. So I either spent a lot of time editing or I just ditched it and wrote the script myself. Because yeah, that was it just you realize that you spend more time editing what it's put out there than you do if you just sit
Yeah.
down and write it yourself. So I think I kind
Absolutely.
of juggled between the two. Maybe if I was just struggling to articulate something, I might just get it to, articulate it more clearly for me, but that was about it.
And what are you
Um,
doing now? Like because you emailed me the other day for my what do you call this? My profile photo? Not my
yeah.
profile photo. Or something like
Well,
that.
yeah. So that's for a VSL, so like a video that sales video people watch when they land on your
Yeah.
funnel. Um, so yeah, so I've just finished, finally finished an 8-minute video
Well
that explains
done.
everything about what the course is about.
That's
Yeah,
so
that
awesome.
was huge actually because I'm using different editing software too, so I have had to
Yeah.
learn a whole new set of
Yeah.
tools,
Yeah.
and it's got to be a lot more engaging than my training content because you've got to sell through it, right? So it's got to be like your best content. And so all the B-roll, like developing all the B-roll is the hardest part so that, it's not just me talking at the camera for 8 minutes. I think it would benefit from more B-roll, but I feel like I've got enough for a first cut to just get something out there. So yeah,
It's good.
that's
And
been massive, and I've done the whole like, what were you
what
gonna
pockets of
say?
time do you use? How do you do it now? Because you said
Well,
job
I'm not
is
too
like
much in the
working a
pocket
lot.
zone anymore because yeah, Eden's doing 3 days, well, 3 mornings at kindy now.
Mhm.
So and
Yeah.
Lily's at school. So I'm grabbing those about 2.5 hours, 3 days a week,
Cool.
um to get as much done as I can. I need to try and do more in her nap times. I've just found with pregnancy I've been so much more tired, so I often do need a little bit more downtime.
100%. And you've got to like schedule that in because you just can't go into deficit while you're pregnant. Like that's not going to be good for you.
Nah, and I mean you just physically can't because I just find like I used to be able to work in the evenings. Now I'm just done. Like as soon as the kids are in bed, I'm like, oh, there's just nothing in the tank. I can't sit down and do any more work.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you though, Pam. Like that's just amazing. Like good on you for like building. And this is it. Like as a mum, the side hustle, like every season is different. So right now you've got, these two away from you for a while. You've got a baby inside you, but you're doing what you can. Hey Naomi, I know you've just jumped in, but do you have 2 minutes to share with us what pockets of time you use to build your side hustle? Because you've got a 2-year-old like me and like older children, but you also are working different hours and stuff. What pockets of time do you use to build your side hustle?
Yeah, so just wherever it works, basically. But
So when
um,
is that for you?
yeah, so for example, yesterday I worked a full day. I
Yeah.
finished, I sort of like I'll just like check in with where she's at. And yesterday she was just quite happy to potter. And so while she potted, I jumped online and I just started doing stuff. And I did it until she needed to go to sleep at like 6:30. So I finished work at 3. I did my clinical notes when I came home. And then she went to bed at 6:30. So I was kind of like, once I got home, I still had energy. So I was like, the other thing, like how you're saying, Pam, like when you've got no energy, like you just can't, and like energy is like the most important thing. So my neighbor said to me, I chase energy, and she was like saying that she like boosts herself on B vitamins and this and that and that. And I was thinking, yeah, actually that's a really important thing, is making sure we get rest so that when we do have those pockets of energy, we can just go hard. And that's what I do. I go hard and I'm so focused once I'm there. Um, so yeah, I think just yeah, I worked until she went to sleep, and then she went to sleep at 6:30. I jumped out of her room, and then I carried on to about 9 o'clock, and then I started to feel myself like rereading things and like not really getting anywhere anymore. And I was like, oh, my brain's tired. I got to go to bed. So I was in bed
Epic.
by
Wow, you are amazing. That is amazing. We've been chatting today. You missed the beginning, but we love having you. About how small, consistent action over time multiplies and builds into great things. And that's kind of like one of the traits of Mum on the Side Hustle. So I also think, though, what you guys are sharing is also one of the traits. It's kind of like this persistence, like continued persistence of adaptability. Like I'm going to adapt to today. Like I've got energy today, I'm going to use it well, and I'm going to use the time that I have, and I'm going to stay focused on this. And yeah, I think the future mum is going to be so thankful. I had so many more questions for us, but my computer battery is running on low, girls, so we're going to have to wrap things up. Thank you so much. And I just love this series, what sets a mum with a side hustle apart. And I'm so grateful that you guys are here to do it with me, because you guys are the mums with a side hustle and you have all the examples. And you guys are building differently. We're building differently to maybe what we've ever seen. We're building differently to the big names out there, but we are building, and what we do doesn't have to be perfect. But that momentum is what we really value. And the small acts, the small courageous acts over time are what are going to build amazing businesses with a lot of impact in the future. And I really feel grateful to be part of a tribe of women who are relentless in their pursuit of that. So we've got 2 more topics. We're going to chat at some point about building with leverage, and also choosing growth over comfort. So that'll bring us to a beautiful number of 5 traits of mums with a side hustle. Well, I created Mum with a Side Hustle because I wanted a community of women who felt like they weren't alone in building a business in the busy season of motherhood. And I wanted to be with women who love being mums, but also are so passionate about God, their relationship with Him, and building with God through that season. That we're not just doing this hustling on our own, but we're actually partnering with the Holy Spirit as we did it. And we build intentionally, we build faithfully and wisely in the season that we're in. And we love our season, but we're not going to give up on our other dreams, the other things that fill us and make us the woman that we are. And we don't have to feel like we've got to achieve great things to prove something to anybody, but we can achieve in pockets of time amazing things. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you are interested in joining our community, we would love to have you. And we're always looking for more mums. We love having these chats, hearing what other women are doing. In the description of this video, there'll be a link for you to pop me your email address. We have a messenger chat you're welcome to join, and I can give you all that information when you pop me your email. We also have a course called the Master the Code Challenge, which these mamas have all done. Give us a wave if you love that, if it's been amazing for you. It's a real great starter. Like if you're like, I want something more than what I already have, but I don't know what. I want a business, but I don't know where to go. Or yeah, you just need some support. This 7-week challenge really, really kickstarts that for you, and I'll be there to walk alongside you with that. So if that's something you're interested in as well, then yeah, love to help you with that. But anyway, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next faithful step. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you to the Mum Tribe. You guys are amazing. And I love you. We'll see you all next week. Stay on if you want to chat in the Zoom room.